I have a question for you. Do you know which starter Pokemon is the only one that has a unique type combination? I will give the answer to this question in just a moment. There are many different type combinations in Pokemon, and with over 170 different type combinations, well, except Stellar, but that type is a gimmick, that means that Pokemon with unique type combinations are more common than you think. For example, Lokix, Great Tusk, and Iron Valiant have unique type combinations even though they were introduced in this most recent generation. Older Pokemon like Bibarel and Heatran still have their unique typings, and the oldest Pokemon to still have a standalone unique typing is Tyranitar, being the only Rock Dark type. This also means that there are type combinations that still haven't been used yet. Where is the Bug Dragon type? So today I will be using a full team of Pokemon that have unique type combinations. And as for the starter Pokemon with the only unique typing left, that would be Empoleon, being the only Water and Steel type. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Now let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I am using a Pokemon team with unique typings. Now for this team, I'm using Pokemon that have unique typings that are standalone Pokemon. So, special thank you to Madeline for coming up with this team idea. I know you mentioned Hisui and Zoroark, and technically Hisui and Zoroark and Zorua are the only normal ghost types, but technically Zoroark and Zorua are like two different Pokemon. So I wanted to use Pokemon that have a solo standalone typing, like Alolan Ninetales, for example. So this is the only Ice and Fairy type, and Alolan Raichu is the only Electric and Psychic type. So I hope that makes sense. So the Overquill is going to set up Toxic Spikes. I have two interesting battles to showcase with this team. I hope you enjoyed them because this team was maybe one of the best teams that I've used on this channel, and that's not an exaggeration. So this Alolan Ninetales is an Aurora Veil set. I'll get into that set a little later. So I'm going to swap in my Great Tusk against the Kleavor. So this Great Tusk is... I've never used Great Tusk before, so I wanted to try the Booster Energy Booster Speed set. So this is max health and max speed, and that ensures that I will get a Booster Energy in speed rather than attack or defense. The Kleavor ends up going for the Swords Dance against me, and I was like, shoot, well, if this is Trailblaze, that's going to be pretty rough, but I really want to get rid of the Toxic Spikes set up by Overquill. This is a Bulk Up, Rapid Spin, Headlong Rush, and Close Combat Great Tusk with Terra Steel. So the Kleavor does have Trailblaze. I was like, shoot, that's gonna hit me for super effective damage. I was hoping that I would be able to wall it if it was I don't know, Close Combat, X-Scissor, and Stone Axe, but this Pokemon just hits really, really hard with Sharpness, and they're gonna Terrasilize into a Bug type, and yeah, this thing is going to hurt. So going for the Headlong Rush, they do resist that now that they Terrasilize, and I was like, well, they're probably going to take out my Great Tusk here with another Trailblaze. This is actually looking really, really bad for me because a Terra Bug X-Scissor at +2 attack from this thing, it's going to do a lot of damage. So I thought, okay, well, the snow is going to stop. I have my Empoleon. Maybe maybe they don't have close combat and I should be able to tank an X-Scissor, maybe. But they go for the Stone Axe and they opt to set up the Rocks. And I was like, that's perfectly fine with me because a Terra Bug X-Scissor, actually might have taken me out, genuinely, because I'm running an offensive Empoleon. This is an agility set. I have a Shuka Berry to reduce ground damage. I have Hydro Pump and Ice Beam. And the last move that I have on this, well, I'm not going to say what it is now because it's going to come into play in the next battle, and it's going to be really, really interesting. So, bringing in my Alolan Ninetales again. Now, I thought, well, this Hisui and Electro shouldn't be able to take me out in one hit. They are going to paralyze me though, so I was like, oh my gosh, if I get fully paralyzed, that's going to be pretty annoying because I want to set up my Aurora Veil for this team. This is the first time I'm using an Aurora Veil offense team actually, so it's pretty interesting. Although I will say I'm probably not going to do it again because this team was actually really, really good. It had some crazy good Pokemon on it, and I normally run very gimmicky Pokemon, which I do have on this team, and you'll see that in a little bit. So the Hisui and Electrode, I don't even know what I almost just said there, but the Hisui and Electrode is going to set up the Leaf Seed. They did miss earlier, but I am going to be able to 2-hit KO it with the Freeze Dry, and thankfully I don't miss either. So Hisui and Braviary comes in, but they swap out immediately, so I was like, that's interesting. Maybe they wanted to bait out a freeze dry and like stall out Aurora Veil turns, but I opted to go for the Baton Pass this turn. Actually, I'm running Aurora Veil, Freeze Dry, Encore, and Baton Pass. So into my Volcanion here. This is an Air Balloon Volcanion, and I'm running a physical set. So this is something that I didn't know. When you Baton Pass and you have Leech Seed, you actually Baton Pass the Leech Seed. I actually didn't even know that. I was like, oh my gosh, I just lost HP on my Volcanion. I do some good damage to the Hisuian Goodra with the Earthquake though. And they are going to take me out with the critical hit Thunderbolt. I'm not sure if that mattered, if this was like a more offensive Hisuian Goodra, but that's going to be the end of my Volcanion. I did get some good chip on the Goodra. Now, good chip, Goodra, huh? So, into my Tyranitar here. Now, this set was so crazy. So I have a lot of really good Pokemon on my team, as I mentioned earlier. I have like my Veil Ninetales, my Tusk with booster speed. Offensive Empoleon is even good. And so I wanted to nerf this Tyranitar. Unfortunately, they swapped in Hisuian Braviary on my Stomping Tantrum, and they're going to set up the Tailwind. So I was like, I'm just going to go for the Dragon Dance. This is a weakness policy Tyranitar, and this set has some really crazy moves on it. So I thought, well, there's no way this Hisuian Braviary is going to stay in. I know that they're probably going to rely on their Ursaluna in the Tailwind. So this set is Dragon Dance, Bite, and Rock Throw, and Stomping Tantrum. I wanted to give it the weakest moves on it just for fun, just to see if I could still get off some funny KOs with like Rock Throw. I have Terra Rock Throw. It's pretty interesting. So Ursaluna comes in with the Tailwind. I do think that it's going to be able to outspeed me even after my Dragon Dance boost. So I thought, well, I really need to stall out the turns of the Tailwind because this Ursaluna is a big problem otherwise. So I'm just going to bring in my Alolan Ninetales. They opt to set up the Swords Dance. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, this Pokemon is definitely going to take me out, even with my Snow Defense boost. But the thing about Tailwind is that in singles, it actually lasts for like a very short amount of turns. So after the Ursaluna just absolutely clobbers me with a Guts boosted Facade, they are going to run out of Tailwind. So I was like, that's perfect because I could bring in my Alolan Raichu named HM03, and it's referred to this for a reason. Because I'm running Choice Specs, Terra Water, Surf on this Alolan Raichu. It's interesting that this Pokemon is like the only electric and the only electric psychic type. So going for the Terra Water Surf, this should easily take out the Ursaluna here. I'm running Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Psychic, and Surf. So the Surf is going to wash the Ursaluna. And the last Pokemon is the Hisuian Braviary. Now, I kind of misplayed here. I went for the Surf. I wanted to do as much damage as possible versus this Hisuian Braviary, but in hindsight, I definitely should have just went into my Tyranitar and like blocked the Esper Wing, because then I would deny this thing from getting a speed boost, and I would just be able to revenge KO it with my Alolan Raichu after with like a Thunderbolt. But they could have went for Tailwind as well, so it's hard to say, but they took out my Alolan Raichu. Now they have a speed boost. They should outspeed my Tyranitar, and this is where things got a little dicey. So I'm going to take some Stealth Rocks damage. I do have the Sandstream to help boost my special defense. And they're going to go for the Air Slash. I was like, oh my gosh, they're going for the Air Slash flinches. No, they get a flinch. I assume this is like Tinted Lens Hisuian Braviary as well. I was like, oh my gosh, please don't get a, please don't get flinched. I need to get off the bite. And thankfully I get the bite off. Oh my goodness, I really did almost misplay that endgame, but that was still a really good battle against a Hisuian team, which is actually really interesting. So on to this next battle here. Now this team was just absolutely monstrous of a team. Like I would assume that these would be like the top 6 Pokemon that you would see in like if you were doing like Wi-Fi in this game. Like absolutely, because we have Fluttermane leading, and of course it's gonna get his booster energy and speed. So I was like, well, I let off with my physical Volcanion just because like if I led otherwise I would have had a really bad matchup into this Pokemon, but I'm just gonna go for that Liquidation as they taunt me. I do some really good damage. I just barely missed a KO, but they are going to go for the Shadow Ball. That is going to pop my Air Balloon, but I am going to be able to take out the Fluttermane, which is always a good thing because this Pokemon is a ginormous threat. So I was really happy to get the KO. I got a Speed Boost with Flame Charge against the Fluttermane, but they are going to bring in the Tinglu, and I wasn't confident that Liquidation was going to take out the Tinglu at all. And obviously, I didn't want to just sacrifice my my Volcanion for no reason. I did think about going for like chip damage on this thing, but I thought, no, I have a safe switching into my Alolan Ninetales. I can always set up I can always set up an Aurora Veil anyway. So they're gonna bring in the Urshifu Rapid Strike. This Pokemon is a giant threat. So yeah, I'm gonna set up my Aurora Veil. As long as this Pokemon is not Brick Break, I should be fine. So this turn I thought, well, Surging Strikes actually does get around like dual screens, like Reflect, Light Screen, Aurora Veil. So I want to swap in my Volcanion here just in case they're like choiced into like Surging Strikes. They actually opted to Terrasilize into the Water type, so I was like, oh my goodness. Well, thank goodness I opted to swap into my Volcanion because with Water Absorb, I'm able to tank that. And they actually swap out, so I was like, okay, that might be Choice. It might be Choice Scarf, Choice Band. I'm not sure. But my Volcanion is really, really important for me to deny the Urshifu. So going for the Liquidation, I actually predicted that they would swap out their Urshifu if they were Choice. So I was like, well, Liquidation was going to be my best move to go for versus anything. And I've swapped in my Empoleon. I have a Sugar Berry, so I should be able to take an Earthquake, especially behind the screens. And I was wondering if Hydro Pump would be enough to take out this Ting-Lu, depending on how defensive they are. And I am able to take out the Ting-Lu, thankfully. Oh my gosh, that Pokemon is so bulky, and I did not have to deal with hazards either. So Dragonite comes in. There really wasn't much I could do to that Dragonite, so I knew that it was probably going to set up a Dragon Dance. So this turn I thought, well, I'm going to bring in my Tyranitar, and with the Sandstorm, I should be able to break its multi-scale. And if they decide to hit me with an Earthquake, I should be able to tank the hit under Aurora Veil, get off a weakness policy, and take them out with Rock Throw. So they do go for Earthquake. I was like, okay, this is perfect. I now have my weakness policy activated. I'm +2 attack. And even though Rock Throw is weak, it should still be able to take it out with Tyranitar's high attack stat, right? So going for that Rock Throw, but Rock Throw misses. No, I just got denied a Rock Throw KO. That would have been so funny. Oh no, the 90% accuracy really screwed me over, unfortunately. So there goes my Tyranitar. I do get 2-hit KO'd after the Aurora Veil, but at the very least, I do break its multi-scale, and the Aurora Veil does run out this turn. So I was like, okay, well, my Alolan Ninetales, I should be able to tank a hit and like maybe set up another Aurora Veil. I actually outsped the Dragonite, so I was like, I was really surprised. I was really surprised that they stayed in, but I was also surprised that I outsped it even after a Dragon Dance. So I was like, okay, well, this is fine because I could go for the Encore on their Roost. They might be like a more bulky Dragonite considering that they have a Roost. And like I would assume that they're like Dragon Dance Extreme Speed. So the Dragonite is gonna swap out. I actually swapped out. I actually went for the Baton Pass this turn because with Freeze Dry, I actually wasn't going to be able to outlast the recovery. So, swapping into my Alola Raichu, and I'm going to go for the Specs Thunderbolt on the Golden Go. Thankfully, they only have Hex and not Shadow Ball, but still, Hex does a lot of damage to me. And I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO the Golden Go here. So I was like, okay, that's a good KO to get. Golden Go is a very, very like annoying Pokemon to deal with. So the Snow is going to stop, and the Urshifu Rapid is going to come in. So I was like, is this Pokemon Scarf or not? It actually isn't Scarf, so I actually am able to outspeed it. Maybe they were like trying to bluff the fact that they were Choice Scarf, but I'm going to be able to outspeed the Urshifu and take it out, and there goes their Terrasilize Pokemon, and there goes their threat. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to stay in, go for the Thunderbolt in case this Chanpao decides to like set up or something, and they're just going to take me out with a Sucker Punch. So I thought, well, if this Chanpao is Sash, which it most likely is, I just want to try to chip this Pokemon with my Volcanion. Now that the Urshifu is gone, I don't have to like deal with water moves, so I could at least play my Volcanion like more riskily in order to like chip down like their Chanpao. So I am going to get taken out by the Sucker Punch. The Aurora Veil does run out this turn, so I was like, okay, that's fine. I do have my Great Tusk to switch in, and I'm a very, very bulky Pokemon, so I should be able to take an Ice Shard from this Chanpao, even at +2. So they don't go for Ice Shard, or maybe they don't have Ice Shard, but I just went for the close combat that turn, and I took out the Chanpao. Maybe they had, like, Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, Icicle Crash, and Sacred Sword. So, Dragonite is going to come in, and I really couldn't do much to it. That's the flaw with this Great Tusk set. It really doesn't do much to Dragonite. So swapping back in my Alola Ninetales here, the Dragonite is going to go for the Earthquake this turn. I was like, that's fine. I have a plan. So I'm going to go for the Encore. I'm going to lock in the Dragonite. That was just in case they decide to go for like a Dragon Dance or something. So they're going to continuously go for the Earthquake versus me. I'm going to go for the Freeze Dry and do a lot of damage to this Dragonite. And they're going to take me out with the Earthquake. So I have a very interesting plan. Everything is set up for my Empoleon to come in. Now this Empoleon, I didn't talk about its last move for the entirety of the video, and that's because it came into play right here. So I'm going to Terrasilize into water. I guess just in case they outsped me, but there was no way they outsped me if they didn't even outspeed my Alolan Ninetales. And I'm going to go for the Weather Ball in the snow. It's ×4 super effective. It's an Ice-type move. It works really well with Alolan Ninetales and even the Sand with Tyranitar. And that's going to take out the Dragonite. That's the end of both games. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.